Welcome to the 9th ever edition of the Geny Mets podcast. Josh Einbinder and Neil Opiro. Let's get it going. Mets, they were doing well today through 6 innings, rain delay for 42 minutes, and then everything collapsed. Break it down for us.
Well, I think rain delays just aren't the Mets' best friend. Blew a lead against San Diego a couple weeks ago, and now this. Even though they didn't have a lead, a tight game, ended up losing by God knows how many number of runs. And, they got swept by the Pirates. Pirates are a good team. Tough loss. Tough 3 losses. I mean, they were in all 3 games, but they got destroyed in the early innings in any of them. They were in all 3. And, they got to bounce back. They got the Orioles for a 2-game set, and they shipped over there. And they got a big road trip coming up. So, they got to bounce back against the Orioles, take at least one of them, hopefully sweep the Orioles in that 2-game set. But the big thing that you're going to take away from this loss today is now the Mets are 3-17 against the NL Central teams, consisting of the Cardinals, the Cubs, and the Pirates. And those 3 teams, if the season were to end today, would all be playoff teams. Now, people might say, now the Mets are going to go up against the Dodgers if the playoffs were to end today. But say the Mets beat the Dodgers in the playoffs, you're going to have to face either the Cardinals, the Pirates, or the Cubs. And you're 3-17 against them, and you haven't really done any damage against them offensively. So that's something to look forward to. But, it's a tough day. Sweeps happen. They just got to come back. They got to bounce back. But one thing's for sure, they got to start winning against these winning ball clubs, or else, when come playoff time, if they make it that far, they're going to be in a little bit of a hole.
And let's shift our focus a little bit. Obviously, if the Mets didn't get swept, and let's say they won the series or swept the Pirates, they would have been in a better position in first place. Not 4.5 games up. They would have been even 8 games up. Nationals got swept by the Giants. They're under 500, which I don't know how that's happened. They were supposed to be the team that won 100 games this year. Now, looking through the box score today, it's unacceptable when Bryce Harper goes 0 for 4. Escobar goes 0 for 4, and Ryan Zimmerman goes 0 for 3. Those are your 3 key guys in offense, and they're not getting any hits. I know the offense has suffered a lot of injuries, but it's unacceptable to blame their kind of lost season right now on injuries, because their pitching staff is top notch, and they're still losing.
Yeah, and I'm allowed to go along with that. And teams struggle, but this is, I believe, 7 in a row now they've dropped. But the Mets have to take advantage. They're 4.5 games up. It has the possibility to be 8.5 up. Not saying that we're going to sweep everyone, but you had the chance to build yourself a 4, 5, 6-game, 7-game lead in the division. And one thing people need to understand: Washington isn't going to stay like this the rest of the year. Most likely for the rest of the year, they're going to bounce back. You assume so. They've got the talent to do so. Strasburg's coming back, looking good. And I think the big thing is, now that the Mets got swept, the Nationals can go into this next series and sweep whoever they play next, or they could fall again and crumble. And the Mets right now are in control of their own destiny. They're 4.5 up on the Nationals in first place, and they got to just do their job and win the games, because you can't count on the Nationals losing every night like they have been. The Nationals are a dangerous team, and we still got them, I think, 3 more times, and it's at the end of the year. That's the last series of the year. So best case scenario right now is the Mets win their games now, so that series doesn't mean as much as it could.
And when you think about it, the Mets have the easiest schedule along the way. I think 33 of their next 47 games are against opponents under 500. The Nationals have the second easiest schedule. They're going to play 3 games against the Rockies at Coors Field, the 18th, 19th, and 20th of August, and then they'll go play the Brewers, the Padres, and the Marlins. How much more easier can that get? Those should be all-series wins for the Nationals, so they should be climbing out of 500, back above 500 very shortly. But the Mets need to take advantage. They really didn't. But, 4.5 is better than 1.5, so Mets fans can't be complaining too much right now.
Yeah, and I got to completely agree with that. But then again, you think Colorado took 2 or 3 from Washington, but that's not going to happen again. The Mets are in control of their own destiny. They're 4.5 up. You got to win these ball games, because Washington is still a very solid club. Just because look at the Mets. They struggled back in May, early June, and they picked it back up now. And they really got to start firing on all cylinders, whether it be management, bullpen, offense. They got to start producing more runs, and that's pretty much it. But they got to start scoring runs. And they got to start winning ball games.
All right, let's shift topics a little bit. Bobby Parnell has been pretty awful since returning from Tommy John surgery. And it's not like he was any better in years past, but this year specifically. But when he first came back, his first couple of games weren't that bad. But this year's definitely not been his greatest year yet. He's got a 4.82 ERA in 22 games. Tell me what you saw today.
When I first thought about, specifically me about today's performance is Terry Collins. What in the heck are you doing putting Bobby Parnell in a tie game in the 7th? I know what Terry's trying to go for is have a 7, 8, 9, just like Kansas City does, but you can't do that with Bobby Parnell as your 7th inning guy. He's so hot or cold. And, I'm going to put today, Terry Collins is going to be sent to blame because I don't know why you put Bobby Parnell in that role when you could put Hansel Robles in there, or you put Tyler Clippard in there for 7, 8, Familia close at the 9. And I understand he's trying to conserve his pitchers for the later innings if it were to go extra innings, but you got to play to win now. And I think putting in Bobby Parnell really hurt their chances, and it obviously did. But aside from that inning, the Mets just were in la-la land. They didn't know what they were doing in the 7th, so you can't really put it all on Parnell or Terry Collins. It was just the Mets as a whole. But, since returning from Tommy John, 2 years ago, he was hitting 100 on the gun. And now he's hitting 93, 94 on a consistent basis. So I think that's definitely something to watch out for. And I think that's probably one of the main reasons why Parnell's struggling is because he's not hitting 98, 99 on the gun anymore. He's hitting 94, 95, 93 on the gun. And, I think at this point, you don't send him down. You got to start working more in the bullpen. You don't put him in as much. That's what you got Carlos Torres for. You got, O'Flaherty's not as good, but then you got Carlos Torres. You got Familia, you got Clippard, and you got Robles, and they've been pretty well rested. I know they pitched 2 days in a row, but you got 3 guys in there in Robles, Parnell, or Robles, Familia, and Clippard that could get the job done. So as far as Bobby Parnell's concerned, you send him down and you let him get some more bullpen work. He's really got to figure it out.
I mean, here's my thing with Bobby Parnell, and I know people are saying this isn't his fault with the double play that should have been turned with Murphy and Tejada, but here's the thing. That's a play that has to be made. That's not just because you miscommunicate Murphy and Tejada, that doesn't matter. That throw, he could have slowed down that throw, and that's just a play you have to make. And that pretty much was the downfall for the Mets today. Then you bring in Eric O'Flaherty. He's probably worse than Bobby Parnell. He's a worse option for him. So right now, the bullpen earlier in the season was looking pretty nice. Now it's a little bit loosey-goosey, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, back to 07, 08.
Yeah, and here's the thing. The Mets don't have that third piece to be in the 7th. If Henry Mejia wasn't such an idiot and take those PEDs, he would be that 7th inning guy like the Royals would have in a guy like Wade Davis or Kelvin Herrera. But they don't. So now we only have 8, 9, and that could potentially hurt us if we make the playoffs.
You can't force Bobby Parnell to be a 7th inning guy as well. Like, what Kansas City has is special. You can't compare yourself to them. You're the New York Mets. You're not the Kansas City Royals. Bobby Parnell is not a 7th inning guy. He's not a closer anymore. He's more of a utility man that you put in when you're up by 2, 3, 4 runs. He's not a guy that you put in a tie game.
So is Eric O'Flaherty. I mean, if you're going to put someone in the tie game, I'm starting to trust Hansel Robles a little bit more. I like this kid every time I see him out. And every time he strikes out a batter, it just seems to come at clutch time. So Robles is starting to, go up on that kind of rating here. But then you got Familia and Clippard. Those guys are kind of your staples. Everyone else, not so great. Carlos Torres, let's face it, he's not the same as 2014 Carlos Torres, where he played, shutout baseball pretty much. And Carlos Torres in 2014 was excellent.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you there.
All right, let's move on here. Mets Orioles, they'll play a 2-game set at Camden Yards in Baltimore. Our own Grandpa Porter will be there for the series. Red hot Orioles, I should say, today. They crushed Oakland 18-2. Position player Ike Davis pitched for the Athletics in the later parts of the game. So let's talk about it. Manny Machado drove in 3 today. Gerardo Parra drove in 3. And Adam Jones all had 3 RBIs each. Chris Davis, who's red hot, he took over the league lead for RBIs. And he drove in 2. And make that 1, actually. He had 2 hits. But this team is red hot. And I know Jacob deGrom, Noah Syndergaard are going to be pitching. So they have to be on top of their game. Especially Noah Syndergaard, who cannot find any way to win on the road.
Yeah, and I mean, you look at the pitching. Pitching can't throw one-run shutouts every game. They can't give up 1, 2 runs a game. It's not possible. I mean, they've been doing it, but it's not going to stick for long. And I think to look back, I know there's 3-run performance by this team. I mean, how many times have you seen the Mets score 1, 2, 3, no runs? I'm pretty sure they've been shut out the most times. It's just the offense is not what the offense is not very good. And I know you add Cespedes, and he really has helped, and it's better than what it was, but it's not very good. And you're relying on the pitching too much. And the Orioles are, I'm pretty sure they're in 3rd place in the AL East, and they're fighting for a playoff spot still. People are counting them out. They're a very good team. They know what they're doing. They're experienced. Machado's a stud. This is a very dangerous team offensively, and I'm not going to be shocked if DeGrom gives up 2-3 runs, or if Syndergaard gives up 3, 4, 5. And that's going to be it. Because I'm not going to lie, they could lose these games easily 5-1, 5-0, 5-3, because they can't put up more than 4 runs a game. I mean, you've seen the stats; they're almost unbeatable when they score more than 4 runs a game. And that's going to be huge for this team. And I think the bullpen factor doesn't come into much of an effect if they're scoring runs. I mean, they got to start putting runs up on the board. I mean, they didn't get, I don't even think they got a hit today with runners in scoring. They didn't get one hit with runners in scoring positions in the entire Pittsburgh series.
And that's a good point, because all the runs came on home runs.
Yes. They only score on the long ball, and you cannot rely on that. You've got to get up there. You've got to get runners in scoring position, and you've got to hit them in.
I mean, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. In years past, they were never hitting the long ball at Citi Field. So it's kind of a trade-off here, where in years past they were more or less hitting with guys in scoring position because no one could hit a homer out of Citi Field. But now that the dimensions are a little bit smaller than Shea, they're hitting more homers than what they should be doing is driving in runs via the base hit.
Yeah, and you think about pure hitters on this team, Daniel Murphy, Yoenis Cespedes. Those are your... And then when David Wright comes back, those are your 3 guys that are pure hitters. The other guys like a Wilmer Flores, that's Curtis Granderson. They don't have that super sweet stroke like Daniel Murphy does. Daniel Murphy's a perfect contact hitter, and he can hit for doubles. That's what they need right now. And, Murphy's a free agent at the end of the year. They got to re-sign this guy. They got to go out to Cespedes. It's a debacle right now. Johnson's a free agent. Uribe's a free agent. I'm not trying to look ahead because I'm not saying we're not going to make the playoffs, because I definitely think we will, but I'm just saying there's only so many pure hitters on this team. And you look at other teams that are successful, they have those pure hitters with those 2 power guys. And I think until the Mets can figure out how to hit line drives, balls up the middles in the gaps, they're not going to do anything, because you got Cespedes, and then you got Murphy, and then you got Wright when he comes back, and Conforto still developing. They need those pure hitters like they had back in the day.
All right, let's move on there. Injury front, what do you got on the injury news? Any rehab news?
So there's 3 big players that are out that you guys know of: Steven Matz, Lucas Duda, David Wright. Steven Matz threw in a game on Saturday. He threw 22 pitches, gave us 3 hits and a run. And, coming off his first start, I'm not too concerned about it. He's going to make a couple more starts. He's going to ease him back into it, and then they're going to go back to that 6-man rotation. Wasn't as sharp as we would have liked him to be on the mound, but, he's young. So I'll bounce back and figure it out. That's it. Matz. And then Lucas Duda has a lumbar strain, I don't know how to pronounce it. He hopes to be back for the Baltimore series. We don't really know right now because he's just playing it down than what it actually is, because he said 4 days ago he'd be back in the lineup the next day, and we're still here and he's not even in the lineup. Then moving on to David Wright, the big one. He wants to return by the Colorado series on the by next weekend, which is next weekend. He wants to return for the Colorado series. He DH'd in 1 game, and he DH'd in 1 game, and he played third in the other, and he went 1 for 3 both of those games. And then he also made a diving play at third base and said he felt fine with it. And, David's definitely feeling a little awkward based on what he's been saying, but who wouldn't feel awkward when he's taking this many months off the game? And, you look for him to bounce back. Is the Colorado series realistic? Absolutely, if he has no setbacks. But he wants to go back, and he wants to return to the David Wright that we know, the David Wright of 06, 07, 08, the David Wright that we all know and love. And he's going to treat his body right. He knows what he's doing. And hopefully we see him by the Colorado series, but he might come back later than that.
I mean, I'll take him coming back later as long as it means that his swing's not affected. Because, like I said in a previous podcast, I don't want him to come back and not be 95% or 100%. I don't want him to be, 75%. I want him to be 95, 100%. Because do we want a David Wright that can hit 200 or that will hit 280, 300? Who can actually help produce and help this team produce wins?
Yeah, I think you look at the lineup real quick once David comes back. You think you got, Granderson. This is what I would do. You got Granderson hitting 1, you put Murphy 2, Cespedes 3, Wright 4, do the 5, and then whoever you want to plug in 6, 7, 8, 9. But they got the depth of the bench now. Lagares has been tearing it up the past few games. Maybe you put Lagares 1, Cespedes 2, and then maybe you shift Granderson down to that 4, or shift Granderson down to that 5 or 6 hole. Maybe he could be a bigger factor, but he's been pretty good at the leadoff spot. But I think once you bring a David Wright back, you definitely add versatility. And I think once David comes back, and the acquisition of Juan Uribe will actually kick in, because I truthfully believe the acquisition of Juan Uribe was to take some of the pressure off Wright. So I'm thinking to look, you see David play 2 days in a row, take a day off, put Uribe in there, maybe take 2 days off, kind of like what they did with Travis d'Arnaud and Kevin Plawecki.
And that'll do it for Geny Mets podcast number 9. We'll see you next time.